Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are going to continue the restricted Pokemon guides with Calyrex Shadow-Rider. Shadow-Rider is actually a really good Pokemon. It's very fast, very good special attacking. Psychic Ghost is good offensively, but very bad defensively. You only have 2 weaknesses, but they're both 4 times, which is really rough. Ghost and Dark just completely obliterate this Pokemon. It is good that it's on like the fastest of those typing Pokemon for the most part, but some could use something like a choice item like Choice Scarf, or supplemented by Tailwind, and make Calyrex kind of just die. So yeah, you have to be very careful of Ghost and Dark Pokemon, and we have Pokemon like Incineroar that are just in the meta on very many teams that can hit this thing for super effective quad effective damage. So yeah, that's a little spooky. But other than the 2 quad weaknesses, we do get 2 immunities, which is good, which is normal in fighting. And then also 2 resistances to poison and psychic, which isn't bad. So that's, a good thing. But yeah, 2 quad type weaknesses is really rough. Anyway, this Pokemon has a really interesting ability called As One that actually gives it the ability of the Shadow or Spectrier and Calyrex, and Calyrex is Unnerve, and then the other is Grimnay. So it will have Moxie for special attacking, and also Unnerve, making it so both opponents cannot use berries, which is actually pretty good, especially considering things like Incineroar is a huge weakness. Not being able to use its Aguav berry, or Pinch berry, is actually pretty good. That's like a very useful thing there, and just berries are good right now anyway. So it's pretty good that they can't eat berries, so that's cool. And then you of course have Moxie for special attack, which is really good. So a great ability, 2 abilities, 1.75 abilities, because Unnerve usually isn't very used, but still it's very good. Let's talk about the stats before we move on to the builds. So the stats are pretty mediocre for bulk. 100 at HP, 80 defense, and 100 in special defense. It's like, pretty well rounded. Pretty low physical with bulk though, at 80 for defense for a restricted Pokemon. It's not going to be taking a lot of hits, especially quad weakness attacks. So definitely, be on the lookout for that. This Pokemon will be a sweeper, something you do damage with, or a supportive Pokemon that won't be very bulky. So don't expect this thing to live a whole lot of attacks. But as far as offense goes, 165 in special attack is off the charts. That's a very good damage calc stat. Special attack is crazy. That's what I'm saying. And then speed at 150 is also very good. One of the fastest Pokemon in our meta that is unsupplemented by something else. And under Tailwind, this thing is just incredibly fast. So, pretty good stuff. Very competent speed tier, very good damage, meager bulk, good stuff. Alright, let's talk about the builds that I have prepared. So, Calyrex Shadow-Rider. We have 2 builds prepared today. One, it takes a more supportive role, but also has Trick Room Imprison, so that is cool. If you're looking for a good Trick Room Imprison, this is a good one. However, it will be taking up your restricted slot, so is that really worth it? Who knows? Only time will tell. Anyway, for the first one, we have Calyrex Shadow at Life Orb as 1. The as 1 is not going to change. Life Orb is a good, item for this, for a attacking Mon. We're going to be Dynamaxing this build a lot, and it works pretty well. Dynamaxing it in the face of anything other than Psychic and Dark, it can be a great Dynamax user. Next we have, so for the EVs, we have 4 HP, 252 special attack, and 252 speed. Very basic. And then Timid Nature, just to be as fast as possible. So this is a very basic spread and a very basic moveset, something you'll see pretty commonly for Calyrex Shadow. So it's pretty good. As for the moveset, we went Astral Barrage, Expanding Force, Nasty Plot, and Protect. Only use Expanding Force if you're sitting it next to something that sets the Surge, but that is what we're going to be doing. Sitting it next to Indeedee Female, sets the Surge, and has Follow Me, so that is really good for Calyrex Shadow. It allows it to use Expanding Force while also being protected by that Follow Me. Pretty good stuff. Now, there are, Fiery Wrath and Dark Pulse in the meta, so if you go up against a Pokemon that has those moves, don't do that, because this lead will just get destroyed by either of those moves. So keep that in mind. Anyway, that's about it for that set. Nasty Plot is pretty good. You can sit back and Nasty Plot up, and then Dynamax it next turn behind the Follow Me, so that's really good. And then, yeah, that's about it for the Life Orb build. Secondary build, we have Calyrex Shadow at Focus Sash as 1. Nothing's going to change there. Focus Sash is good because of its pretty bad bulk all around. Using Focus Sash and then using it in a more supportive nature Now, it is kind of weird to use like your restricted slot for like supportive, so I don't think this build will see much play, but I still think it was interesting and worth noting. So, Calyrex Shadow. We have 4 HP, 252 special attack, and 252 speed. Why would we lean into bulk when using a focus sash? It just wouldn't make sense. Timid Nature would be as fast as possible. Trick Room Imprison is the name of the game here. Being able to Trick Room Imprison for your fast Pokemon. Also Protect, which is good. So keeping away Protect and Imprison, very, very solid for this Pokemon. You have this next to like a really, really strong Dynamax Sweeper or even something Scarf. It can be a good idea. Then I went Astral Barrage and Protect. Astral Barrage just his best attack in general, so it's pretty good. That is it for those builds. Let's talk about some customizations, you know, like the dog from the new gen. Anyway, so we got a couple of items here that could be pretty good and could definitely be used. So first off, we have Choice Scarf. This Pokemon is very, very fast, but with Choice Scarf, like, it's actually just the fastest, so that's something, you know, that's interesting. And then we have Kasib and Colbur turning, you know, their respective weaknesses into 2 times instead of 4 times, so those could be good berries for Calyrex Shadow, which is not bad. Next, we have some moves. So we got Mud Shot, Leaf Storm, Energy Ball, Draining Kiss. I think there was like one more. Yeah, I guess that's it. That's those are for our you know, coverage moves. So if you're Dynamaxing this Pokemon and want to use a coverage move for your team to be like a better team comp, then you have some good options. So that's really good. Also, Draining Kiss does destroy those dark Pokemon. That does destroy this Pokemon. So not a bad move to have. A couple of good supportive moves here is Confuse Ray, Haze, Will-O-Wisp, Helping Hand, Leech Seed, which is really cool, Light Screen, Reflect, both screens, Safeguard, Snarl for damage deafening, Speed Swap could be really interesting on this Pokemon actually, and then Ally Switch. So very good move pool for both attacking and supportive moves. So very solid move pool, great Pokemon, good stuff. That is it for the move set and builds. Let's talk about the synergetic Pokemon and then move on. So, the synergetic Pokemon is just Indeedee female. I already talked about it mostly. It does set the surge for Calyrex Shadow-Rider to use its Expanding Force, which is very good. Double Expanding Force can be absolutely insane. You could even go Choice Scarf Indeedee next to like Calyrex Shadow-Rider with like Life Orb and just do an insane amount of damage with Expanding Force. But definitely be careful of those Dark-type Pokemons because that would rip that lead apart. So be careful of that. It also has Follow Me though, so you can sit there, nasty plot up, or even just like attack a dark Pokemon and take it out before it can do anything. So you've got a couple of good options there, and it's pretty good. Anyway, that is it for there. Let's go ahead and talk about speed tiers. So 222, 222 is pretty fast. I know it says neutral there, but that's actually positive. I had to create this speed tier, but yeah, it's very fast. So we are under speeding by a little bit to a couple of things. So Pheromosa, you know, is pretty underused, but it's definitely something that we should still, you know that it just barely outspeeds Calyrex, which is cool. For the Pheromosa, I guess, not really for Calyrex. But then we are being outsped by Kyogre and Groudon at Scarf, so that is something, and Lando T at Scarf, and then also Ludicolo at Swift Swim. All of those guys. I have Smeargle here. That's supposed to be Regieleki, right there. That's supposed to be Regieleki. Anyway, Regieleki at max speed is 277, so it is outspeeding Calyrex Shadow. Smeargle's not in the game. Yeah, just saying. And then Xerneas and Yveltal at the very top after their Geomancy or respective Tailwind. So that's good. Next, we are outspeeding a lot of good Pokemon, though. Outspeeding things like Dragapult, Dracovish at Scarf, Crobat, Mewtwo, Tapu Koko, Thundurus, Cinderace. You're outspeeding all those good Pokemon in that 150 to 200 range. Things like Kartana, Nihilego, the Garchomp, Blacephalon, Naganadel. A whole lot of really good Pokemon in that range that Calyrex Shadow does, in fact, outspeed. Very good stuff. Anyway, that is it for the speed tiers. Let's talk about damage calcs. So, first 4 are going to be offensive. The last 2 are going to be defensive, just to go and show how frail this is to quad weaknesses. So, let's get into it. So, Calyrex Shadow-Rider max Phantasm from 252 special attack into a 4 HP Dynamax Dragapult. Hits 109 to 129, which is a guaranteed OHKO. Great calc there. Next, we have 252 special attacking Life Orb, Calyrex Shadow-Rider Expanding Force into a 4 HP Dynamax Venusaur in Psychic Terrain is a guaranteed OHKO. We're hitting 98.3 to 117. Actually, not a guaranteed OHKO. I just said that wrong. It's actually a 93.8% chance to OHKO, which is still an amazing calc. Dynamax Venusaur. Get out of here, boy. Next, we got 252 special attacking Calyrex Shadow-Rider Max Quake into, based off of the mud shot, so it's only 110 BP, into a 4 HP Regieleki, hitting 165 to 194, which is guaranteed OHKO. Good stuff. Next, we have +2 from Nasty Plot, 252 special attacking Calyrex Shadow-Rider Max Quake, 110 BP once again, into that 236 HP, 236 plus special defense, so a very especially defensive bulky Incineroar, which is the standard. We are hitting 117 to 138, which is guaranteed OHKO, and that's only really with Nasty Plot. Without Nasty Plot, you're not taking an OHKO, not even a percentage, so yeah, keep that in mind. Up against an Incineroar. Next, we have 4 attacking Incineroar Throat Chop into our 4 HP Dynamax Calyrex Shadow-Rider. We are taking 69.3 to 82.9% damage, which is guaranteed 2 hit KO into the Dynamax boy, but it's still a lot of damage just from a base Incineroar's Throat Chop. Also, Throat Chop, it should have been Darkness Lariat. It would do a little bit more damage, although it still wouldn't be an OHKO, I believe. Anyway, next we have Moltres Galar Max Darkness, 252 special attacking Max Galar. Max Moltres Galar. Mess that one up. Into our 4 HP Dynamaxed Calyrex Shadow-Rider, hitting 105.6% to 126.1, which is a guaranteed OHKO. Do not put it up against a special attacking or just a sweeper that is dark or ghost. Just don't do it. You're gonna die. Anyway, that is it. Let's talk about the single spotlight real quick before I end the video. So, single spotlight is not going to be very different. It's just going to be Life Orb as one sweeper once again. Nasty Plot up. You got Astral Barrage and Psyshock for coverage or for stab, and then Psyshock also, you know, hits on based off of defense, like physical defense instead of special defense. So if you're up against something that's like gonna just try to wall Calyrex out as a special attacker, we have Psyshock, so that's cool. Next, and then also Draining Kiss, of course, because Draining Kiss does destroy those really, you know, ridiculous dark types. We have a lot of really good dark types in the meta, so this Pokemon may struggle a little, but Draining Kiss does help that struggle out a little bit. Anyway, we have 252 plus in speed and then 252 in the attack, just to make it as fast and as strong as possible, and then the leftover 4 in a special defense, because why not get that special defense up a little bit. Pretty good. Anyway, that is about it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Makes a huge difference. Go down to the description box, the description, click on all those links, and follow me on all those pages and stuff like that. Go down to the comment section and tell me, what do you think about Calyrex Shadow-Rider? Do you think it's going to be good? Do you think the 4 times weakness is going to kill it? Only time will tell, but I think this Pokemon is definitely good. Anyway, goodbye. Hope you have a good week. Bye.